Hi guys, welcome to Making Sawdust. Welcome back to the channel. I have completed my first project on this Central Machinery 16-inch scroll saw I purchased at Harbor Freight. If you have not seen the first video, my first look and my first impressions of this tool, I'll leave a card right up there, and also a link in the description. You can watch this after this video. I have a few more things I want to point out after doing this project, and stick with me. I really like this saw, guys. I have not even mounted it to my bench yet. I know that it will take a lot of vibration away if I mount it to the bench, but I just really haven't found a place for it yet. First thing I notice is cutting small stuff. I'm only using a standard down facing blade, so like the teeth on the blade are going down. I'm getting a lot of vibration, and that's kind of frustrated me a little bit. The foot is getting in the way. I'm trying to cut out some small letters here, and the foot is actually supposed to keep the material down towards the table. But then another thing I'm noticing is the throat plate, the black plastic insert, is actually about a 1/16, close to an 1/8 of an inch lower than the actual table of the machine. So I'm getting a lot of vibration, and that's really frustrating me. More of what I want to explain is actually chatter. Because the material isn't held down perfectly on the table surface, because of the throat plate is lower, I get a lot of chatter, and it's actually really hard to hold the material so I'm not getting chatter. So that could be due to an issue of the type of blade that I'm using. And I know there's a lot of different blades out there, but especially when I'm getting to a really small piece, man, I have to get that foot right out of the way. And that actually is hindering me holding the blade or holding the material down, I want to say. So the black throat plate is actually pretty flexible, and that actually hinders me holding it down securely. So you can really see how evident that is. And obviously I don't want to get my fingers that close to the blade. So you can certainly stay tuned for my modification of the throat plate on a Central Machinery saw, and also maybe some adaptation on that foot piece, I guess I'd call it. So moving on to the next part of this project, I am just sanding off my stencil. And what I really want to address is, man, this is hard. If you guys have any way to sand off your paper stencil that you've glued on your plywood or your wood easier than I have, please leave a comment below. What I actually have done is I've glued on, well, actually two-sided tape, some sandpaper to my workbench, but it is a pain in the behind hanging onto these little letters and trying to move them back and forth and sand that stuff off. I tried my palm sander, I tried my random orbital sander, and man, this is about the easiest way, but I am struggling. So leave a comment down below. So moving on, before you guys get bored to death, watch me sand those little letters, I'm going to show you a little quick project I've been commissioned by one of my local thrift stores that had some items, and they want me to, let's make something. These are some cast iron doors off a wood stove. It says Woodbine, number 8, 1886. So apparently they're pretty old, and we are going to see what we can come up with. They're actually from a cook stove. So what I'm going to make is like I don't know, let's call it a baker's cabinet. So let's get back to painting and finishing the sign, but I did want to give you guys a sneak peek of another project. So I'm just working on some trim and some effects for my lettering for this sign. I'm using some cool Hobby Lobby paintbrushes that I got and some acrylic paint. And super tip, take one of your carpenter pencils and super glue your small parts to the end of it, and that way you can paint your small parts and have kind of a painter stand. So using my propane torch, I'm adding a little bit of patina to these letters. These are actually just 1/8 inch plywood, and I'm just going to burn them just a tad bit. Use my handy dandy little spring clamp so I don't burn my fingers off. And a few coats of poly after this on all the letters and the trim pieces. Next, I'm going to secure in this piece of galvanized metal in the frame itself. I'm actually using some CA glue and some activator. So there you have it, folks. This is the completed sign made with some sandblasted barnwood. This is not your everyday barnwood. This is stuff that's been on the side of a barn out here in Wyoming for 70 plus years, and literally when the wind blows it sandblasts the wood. I've used splines. This is actually kind of a mitered spline right here. I lost a lot of footage when I started this project. It was back at our other location, so I didn't include that. So it really isn't a project build video, but I wanted to show you using the scroll saw and some of the things that I encountered and give you some insight on how I'm going to fix those in future videos. My friend Nathan at Sampson Farms, he has a YouTube channel there in Tennessee. So if you guys like gardening or chickens or quail and fermenting and canning and all kinds of stuff like that, why don't you pop over there and say hello to him. And I'm going to get this thing shipped out. So thank you for joining me here at Making Sawdust. And why don't you get outside and make some sawdust.